We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you right now. Let's settle for the details of the stories. The chiefs and people of the Woya community where mining of lithium is to take place are urging government to increase royalty allocations to traditional authorities before the deal takes off. Now, the agreement, when ratified by Parliament, is expected to bring some appreciable level of development to the area. My colleague George Quainin visited the community and has more in this report.
The conversation on Ghana's discovery of lithium continues unabated, and that has projected the image of Owoya in the central region, where the mining is expected to take place over the next 15 years if it's ratified by Parliament. And that is going to take place on a total land area of 2,012 hectares. As you're aware, the government of Ghana has granted a mining license to Atlantic Lithium as a West African nation positions itself to tap into the multi-billion-dollar global industry. Well, the 15-year lease agreement will grant exclusive right to the company to work and produce lithium and associated minerals in the area. Ewoya is a town part of Encroachment, and the mainstay here is farming. Population is close to 500, and most of the challenges here is they have bad roads, and job creation for the youth is also minimal here. And so, with this very agreement that is expected to bring some sort of development here, the chief, who is Nana Imbronu Edu the 9th, can't wait to have this very agreement approved by Parliament.
Abaye royalties 10%.
1% in royalties allocated for the chiefs is inadequate. We're asking for an upward adjustment to either 5%, 4%, or even 3%. Also, we want government to create a consolidated fund that only the chiefs and the company will manage.
We also sought some concerns from stakeholders, including opinion leaders and the Queen Mother of Ewoya.
I plead with government to ensure that what is our share is given to us to drive development in the area and generate employment among our youth.
We agree for mining to be done here. We see a lot of vehicles coming here, and we believe that this is the beginning of development.
I don't think that our boss and Takwan, the same thing will happen here.
I don't think what happened in Takwa and Obuasi will happen here, considering details of the contract signed between the government and the company.
Township.
Member of Parliament for Infantine constituency, Ophelia Mensah Hayford, believes this is a good deal because looking at past experiences, Ghana has learned a lot.
We can talk about Obuasi, what is happening there, our river bodies, the distractions that we've caused to ourselves. I think we, the generation of now, we've learned a lot. And so I don't think that government and whoever will sit for us to continue with whatever is happening in there, at least for the sake of development and for the sake of the generation to come, we'll do something extra, something beneficial.
So this very agreement be ratified by a Parliament, Atlantic Lithium will be producing close to 300,000 tons of this very metal annually, and that is expected to bring some appreciable level of development at Ewoya. Well, we're just waiting for that very agreement to be ratified. We'll still be following up closely, keeping a tab on that, and update you subsequently in our bulletins. Josh Quainin, TV3 News, Ewoya.
Well, away from that, encroachment on airport lands is interfering with flight signals during landing, a situation the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority fears will have dark consequences on the country's aviation industry. The manager in charge of safety standards and quality assurance, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, William Wilberforce Amwako, therefore cautioned the public against encroaching on lands belonging to the authority. Joseph Armstrong and Anita Agbota have the rest of the story.
There is massive infrastructure development along the airport Spintex Road all the way to the Flower Port area. High-rising buildings and billboards are common on the stretch. Much closer to the airport runway, some squatters have turned parts of the land into refuse dump. This is the situation at night along the Spintex stretch. There are billboards with high lighting, nightclubs and drinking spots with neon lights scattered along the way. But do the owners know the dangers that flashing highlights and encroaching on lands around the airport pose to flight operations, especially flying and landing at the airport? The manager in charge of safety standards and quality assurance at the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, William Wilberforce Amwakon, warns the encroachment to stop immediately.
Once you build high-rise buildings around it, the transmission, the signals are blocked, and pilots are not able to receive the correct signals, and it can be very dangerous. We have regulations. Everybody who needs to build, those will have to seek approval from civil aviation, but in most situations they don't. Even some don't even seek the necessary approval from the necessary permits from the main environment and the rest. How much more civil aviation? So it's causing a lot of problems with buildings around our facilities.
He added, some pilots have complained of difficulties in getting signals when landing.
The encroachment has been so massive, and it affects our communication systems. We're trying to have a series of backups. We're trying to have alternatives, which may not, but it's not been easy. So for now, we are still grappling with those encroachments, which poses a safety risk to flying.
The Municipal Chief Executive of the Lejikuku Municipal Assembly, Lekma, Mordecai Kwashi, said the Assembly is not relenting in its efforts to safeguard the airport area.
On that road, there are shows. There are big spaces where they do live shows at night. And they use these lights, they call them talking head or something, that point at the sky, and they do this waving sign in the sky, and that distracts aircraft. They are not supposed to do that. So we've stopped the use of that. All these areas, we've warned them that if they use that, we will ban them from operating. So they stopped using it. The next thing is garbage. What happens with garbage is that birds feed on the garbage, and then they rise into the sky, and they cause the danger to the aircraft. When they enter the engine and so on, they can actually jam the aircraft engine.
He assured no more permits will be given for the construction of rising buildings along the airport's painted stretch.
We are not permitting any more structures, high-rise structures, in the flight path in Lejikuku municipality. So that is what we have done so far to ensure that the flight path remains free of nuisances and that the aircraft remain protected from unnecessary hazards.
Joseph Armstrong, Good TV3, Accra.
Now, the governing New Patriotic Party and the main opposition, the National Democratic Congress, they are busily organizing their base even before the Christmas break. Both parties are strategically targeting the youth population to target their chances of winning power. William Evans has filed this report.
Political cloud is gathering momentum here in the Ashante region. It's been a busy weekend for some of the political parties. For the MPP, reorganizing its youth base is something that they are not taking kindly, especially with a region which has a huge youth population per the 2021 population and housing census. The regional youth organizer held a mega youth conference. And of course, addressing the gathering, the Minister of Energy, who also doubled as the lawmaker for Mensah South constituency, said the former president, John Dramani Mahama, has nothing new to offer the Ghanaian electorate. Former President John Dramani Mahama has nothing new to offer. He scrapped the nursing allowance. What is he going to say in 2024? We are coming out with the very best of message. In the camp of the NDC, some bigwigs of the party are meeting in the Ashante region, and the meeting focused on re-strategizing and reorganizing the party's base in the Ashante region.
Not just NDC members, but those who have previously been voting NPP, who form the majority here, to be able to win more souls for the NDC through this kind of engagements. And if we are able to do that, we are going to increase our percentage.
Remember, going into election 2024, the ruling New Patriotic Party has some 71% of vote share. For the NDC, they appreciated their gains from 23% in 2016 to 26% in 2020. William Evan Sinkum, TV3 News.
Well, on the back of that, political scientist and lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Ashante, says political parties must give clear indication of how they will address unemployment, which is a major concern for the youth in the country.
As for youth, all that they are looking for first and foremost is employment, because there are a large number of them who are parading in our street without job, moving from office to office in search for jobs. So the government has to be able to think around the box and then come out with something that will really assuage their pain in terms of what job opportunities. They have had all the rhetorics and in the last election with the hope that they are going to get jobs. It is true that some of them gain jobs, but there are a large army of them who are without jobs. So they need to be able to convince them and convince them well. That's the message. But apart from that, the first and most important message that is in all the regions and all the constituencies is the economic message. Issue of inflation, issue of infrastructure development, issue of the debt that has, ballooned and taking us to this place, and issue of how far we have come in terms of the economic decadence. And in the light of all that Dr. Maubia said, it's a tall order that they need to be able to think outside the box and then create something meaningful. It's a difficult one for them. But hey, political parties have what it takes to be able to turn things around.
Also this morning, an attempt by representatives of the clergy in the Western region to draw John Dramani Mahama's attention, the 2024 flag bearer of the NDC, to the controversial National Cathedral and push him for a possible completion was met with stiff resistance by supporters of the NDC who have vowed never to allow it. But with a candidate who intends to complete a abandoned project and continue with some ongoing infrastructure development, will John Dramani Mahama dare a project that has become controversial? A report by Komla Kluche.
About 700 meters from Ghana's parliament sits one of the world's most controversial craters, a hole surrounded by weeds into which $58 million has already been sunk for the building of a denominational national cathedral. It remains the biggest hole dug in the country's history, a pledge by the president and stalled over controversy unabated. John Mahama walked into the Akuma Hall expectant of frank views. He was hit by a representative of the clergy whose only concern was the stalled, crater-sunk National Cathedral.
Soba, yewo National Cathedral. Bisa oya sembisa yesrawan. Yesrawan. Okay. And
met with stiff resistance. The people want John Mahama to have nothing to do with it. And dismissive of John Mahama, who says his next administration will continue all abandoned projects, had a response.
Cathedral asamo kaino wachro egum. Intimesre we obia e kana adwin. Inti akwa ya yebetena se ne yi aba ewo mu na ye de aye manifesto no.
John Mahama has reiterated his call for a 24-hour economy, a game changer, he calls it. He's giving out a lot more on this.
And so Nyabene said we will make sure that government uses its spending power in the economy to boost made in Ghana businesses so that they also will make money to be able to employ more people.
Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Anglo Town, Sama.
Away from the political arena, the Chieftaincy Minister Stephen Asamoah Boateng says the simmering tension between the Asante and the Domahene will resolve by itself despite efforts by the National House of Chiefs to intervene in the matter. According to him, the decision to stop the Domahene from attending the recent funeral of the Brekumhene was crucial in helping to prevent possible breach of public peace. The minister has been speaking to measures taken to resolve outstanding chieftaincy conflicts in the country.
The Asantehene Otumfo Oseitutu II and the Domahene Osajufo Osiadeyo Ajumanbedu II have recently been engaging in exchanges over chieftaincy supremacy. Both leaders on different occasions accused each other of distorting historical fact, with the mention of the Asantehene in the Chieftaincy Act being one of the concerns for the Domahene. But that would not end it. The Sunyani High Court restrained the Domahene from attending the funeral of the late Brekumhene to avoid a possible clash between his subject and that of the Asantehene.
I picked a signal that the program was in danger of a clash between the Domahene and the Asantehene. And so I did what I'm supposed to do, talk to both and find out what's going on. The program was such that the regional House of Chiefs and their presidents were meant to be there on the Wednesday. And the Thursday was dedicated to Otumfo, the Asantehene. But I picked a signal that the Domahene wanted to go on the Thursday. So I called him and I pleaded with him that, look at the program, you're meant to be there on the Wednesday. He had a reason for saying that it was the Wednesday he couldn't attend the funeral because it's Dabone. Right. But I also advised that with the numbers he was going to come with, even if the Thursday was possible, which it wasn't, and the numbers that was also coming from Otumfo, it would be a clash.
Amid the simmering tension between the two leaders, the Chieftaincy Minister says there is a need for further engagement with the chiefs. He, however, believes the feud between them will resolve by itself, although there are historical facts to it. The existence of chieftaincy dispute in the country has caused mayhem in communities, damaged properties, and in extreme cases, loss of lives. Stephen Asamoah Boateng believes a review of the Chieftaincy Act and documentation of succession plans are some of the ways to resolve the issues.
The Chieftaincy Act has been around for what, 15 years? So obviously there's a need to look at it again. And I have initiated that. So I've already thrown into the House of Chiefs. Now, if that is an issue and they want to bring it up and look at that particular clause, it's up to them, not me. My job is to guide them. I've set up a committee. We've done the consultation and it's now with the House of Chiefs. My information is that they would get it back to me hopefully by the end of this year.
Christian Yali, TV3 News.
Now, the Techiman Divisional Police in the Bono region has apprehended the driver of a Kumasi-Boko-bound bus with registration number GT 5509-20 on suspicion of carrying illegal arms. A passenger is said to have raised an alarm regarding a potential weapon on board the bus during the journey on Sunday. Prompted by the alert, the police conducted a search of the vehicle, leading to the startling discovery. Concealed within the confines of the passenger bus were 24 boxes containing live ammunition. The driver of the bus claimed that the consignment had been loaded in Kumasi and was intended for delivery in Boko in the Upper East region. The driver was subsequently detained by the police as no passenger claimed ownership of the discovered ammunition. Now, the police, meanwhile, have intensified their investigation into the matter. Well, that's it for the news on New Day. My name is Noble Crosby, and there's always more news on our website, 3news.com. Please log on for more. New Day continues after the break. Good morning.